Okay, today's topic is religion in Korea. Is this something that catches your fancy? Religion. Who considers? I mean, is there anybody who considers yourself to be like religious? Religious? Is that a stupid question? But I think in one way or another, we're all religious, right? Because depending on how you define religiosity, we all could have different answers. But basically, I think you don't have to be religious to actually believe in a supernatural being. Anyway, I'd like to start with a quote. Jonathan Swift, the author of Gulliver's Travels, he said something this profound. We have just enough religion to make us hate, but not enough to make us love one another. Very profound, right? I mean, we live in a time where just belonging to a different religious organization, I think, make us think twice before, marrying, let alone dating that person. Maybe dating is too far, but I think when it comes to marriage, right, we may think twice. Okay, so this is the lecture outline. Major religions of the world, sort of basic information on, what people believe in, what religion they believe in, religious diversity, and the rest is on Korea. Okay, so the only number one is about the world. Okay. First, major religions of the world ranked by number of believers. Question number one: which organized religion has the largest number of adherents? I'm sure the two religions come to your mind, right? Christianity and Islam. Which one is it? Christianity? Anyone else? Or how many would vote for Christianity? Hands up. Anyone for Islam? Nobody, huh? Anyone for shamanism? Yeah, this is number one. Now, 2.1 billion. Why is that a big number? So what's the population of the world today, roughly? I think it's 7 billion now. Last time I checked, it was 6.7 billion, but could anybody check this with your cell phone or the internet? Oh, you got it now, 7 billion. Okay, and I think every day we have like 20,000 new babies born. 20,000, anyway, I think this is some of the trivial facts, that are useful for you to sort of know, right? That roughly 2/3 of all Christians are Catholics, okay? And 1/3 Protestant. Okay, so that's quite easy to memorize, right? 2/3 Protestants, 1/3 2/3 Protestant, 2/3 Catholic and 1/3 Protestant. Islam is 1.5 billion. Hinduism is 900 million. Buddhism 376 million. Sikh 23 million. And so on, okay? And non-religious at the bottom, 1.1 billion. Is there anybody who considers himself or herself agnostic or atheist? Hands up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's roughly, I think, the world average. Okay, so here we go. So 1/3 of all the world's people believe in Christianity. 20%, 21% Islam. Non-religious, 16%. And what did we say the figure or the percentage was for people in Korea with no religious affiliation? 45, 46, right? So you can see how that is really high, right? Something also sort of, it gives you a real good idea as to where these two major religions are concentrated. So the purple is Christianity. Green is Islam. So I think, when it comes to religions in Africa, I think we sort of think that these two major religions are not really that big in those countries, but yes, they are. Okay, so the Northern Africa, Islam, and Southern Africa, Christianity. So if you're interested in this kind of thing, it'll be interesting to learn how this happened. Okay, why is it that countries in Africa sort of embraced these two world religions? Why the northern half Islam, second half, the lower half Christianity? And same thing. And this is something also just for your sort of knowledge. 10 largest national Christian populations. USA number 1, 224,000. No. Yes, 224 million. Brazil, 139 million. Mexico, 86 million. And you go down the list. Korea, 14 million. Okay, here's something that take a moment to digest, but in just one slide, you get the basic ideas about these religions, what they stand for. Okay, so take a look at the example of what's the most important, interesting one here? Okay, number 5, belief in heaven and hell. All of these major religions have some ideas about that, except Confucianism. Okay? I think in Confucianism, heaven is your home, and hell is outside the home. I'm just kidding. Nobody's laughing at this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And your question is? So if you need, so it's like when you pray for something, is it just one? Is there just one person you pray to, or many? So in the case of Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, it's simple, right? Because in the case of Confucianism, ancestors, there's more than one. Buddhism, Hinduism, many gods. There are polytheistic religions. I think something that's confusing could be, and Catholicism is included here. Why? Does anybody know? Saints, and also Mother Mary. Okay, something that Protestant Church heavily criticized Catholicism for, right? That is a heretic religion because it believes in, this, supreme God, of Jesus Christ, and God. So again, that's there. Islam, I can't say because I don't know much about Islam. Does anybody who knows more about Islam to be able to answer that question? Why do we say that there are many prophets? Okay. So Catholicism has saints. Islam has prophets. Number 6 is belief in reincarnation, Hinduism, Buddhism, Taoism, you know, it's half and half. Laws relating to food, number 7. Hinduism, obviously, cow. Buddhism, meat, right? You should not kill sentient beings, right? Am I pronouncing that right? Sentient. And Islam, of course, pork and prohibition of alcohol. See, number 8. See, in Korean Protestantism, there is that regulation. You should not drink alcohol. Okay? But I haven't seen too many Protestants who don't drink alcohol in Korea. So they're committing sins every day. Because many Koreans are very heavy drinkers, right? So the more, you know, alcohol you consume, more sins you're committing. Yes or no? Does it matter you just get 1 drink of alcohol or 10 drinks of 폭탄주? Does anybody know what 폭탄주 is? Oh, 폭탄주. It's one of the most favorite alcohol drinks of Koreans. You mix heavy like liquor with beer. Okay, so it's like a what do you drink to get drunk in the West? In small glasses. What do you, shooters. So it's like shooters. You know, you drink shooters to get really drunk fast. That's what it is. Okay? So we have something like that, but instead of just drinking something sweet and, you know, in small quantity, we like to mix either soju with makgeolli. Soju with makgeolli. Soju and beer, or whiskey with beer. Who has tried that before? You tried. Oh, soju. Okay. Oh yeah. One of the very few students who had the taste of my somek. Because I don't go out drinking with students anymore. Well, I hope you guys try it, especially, of course, exchange students, right? Try to get the taste of what, you know, Koreans drink when they want to get drunk. Okay, I think number 9 is probably the most important element here. Claim to exclusive validity. Hinduism does not have that because it's a polytheistic religion. Buddhism, same thing. And the only 3 religions that have this exclusivistic validity, it's like, you believe in my religion because that is the only truth approach, Christianity and Islam. And it just happened to be that those were the ones that are typically considered missionary religions. You not only claim that yours is the only truth, but also you have this mission of spreading, right, what you believe in to other people. That is why, you know, missionaries from the United States, England, Canada, now Korea, right, are all over the world, still trying to spread the gospel, right? So that's the sort of the brief survey of the world religions. Any questions or comments?
A religion before they get married?
Oh, I think they will think about that because, you know, if you because there is such a, I don't know how it is like in Australia, but here there's sort of a degree of hostility between the Protestant church and the Catholic church, usually sort of instigated by the former. because the Protestant church tends to be more exclusivistic than the Catholic Church. Okay? So how is it in Australia? Would that be a matter if?
I think if people considered religion, they would be considered not normal. It's not normal to think about religion before marriage. Like, love is more important than different. Yeah.
Who is either Catholic or Christian in this room? I wanted to ask a Korean student, especially a woman, female. Yeah.
Whether
You're Catholic or Protestant?
Protestant.
And if you're to meet a Catholic guy, I'm not
I
talking
would
about
prefer
a priest.
Protestant. I would prefer the same religion.
So I think the question would be like, would you like write them off? Like, even before you are about to fall in love, you just say, no, because it's Catholic, no way.
I think Catholic is acceptable, but not like Buddhism or any other religion. I'm Catholic, and I would actually, my friends who are Protestant, they really do consider religion. Their family, the whole family, like their parents, they only want like Protestant guys. But me, I wouldn't mind, but I would actually prefer non-Protestant. Like I don't mind atheist or Buddhism, but I wouldn't want.
But not Protestant.
I recently read an article saying that more than 70% of Korean singles said that they wouldn't get married with someone having a different religion.
Wow, 70%. Can you, if you could find that article, can you send it to me via email, please? Anyone else who would say, religion doesn't matter?
I've noticed, I'm American, and I mean there is a distinction a little bit between like Christianity, like Protestantism and Catholicism, but I feel like among Asian cultures it's kind of more of like a distinct like line between the two. Like some of them don't even recognize the other. I just thought that was kind of more characteristic of like Asian Christianity and Asian Catholicism rather than in America. Yeah.
I think there are many Protestant churches and pastors who would say that they see Catholicism as not as a sort of a close or distant cousin, same sort of basic beliefs, but they actually see Catholicism or Catholics as like believers in totally different religion. I have this little joke, but I don't think I want to be recorded. So I'll tell you the joke during the break. Or even during the break, the whole thing is on, right? Okay, we'll all walk outside. When I married my wife, I come from a fifth generation Catholic family. My wife was a very, very devout Protestant. And this was one of the reasons why my parents-in-law, were just dead against our union. They were so against me that they grounded her, cut off the phone line, and we had to pretend that we're not seeing each other. And when I went back to Canada, when I wrote letters, I had to send it to her sister's company and have the letter delivered to her. And when I came back to Korea, we did a lot of crazy things. Anyway, I told them, yes, I'll convert to Protestantism, get married at a church, and I'll go to a Protestant church. So we got married. But my wife, very nice and kind person, actually came to my side. We started to go to a Catholic church. but then because I'm I'm an atheist, right? So I just didn't go, and now nobody goes anywhere. So we're sort of staying away from any religious matters. But I don't know why, I keep on giving this monthly contribution to this church. Anyway, so if I were to give any advice from my own experience, I mean, if I were to give up on my wife because of our religious differences, I think I would have regretted a lot. Because I think unless religion is the most important matter in your life, I think love is more important. Again, I will not say this to somebody to whom religion is more important. Okay, but I think typically an average person would think of love as being more important than religion. Am I right on that or not? I mean, someone who is devout Christian. I'm talking about born again Christian. Is there anybody who is born again Christian? Hands up. Okay, these born again Christian people, I don't think love will be something that is more important than, right? Your devotion. Faith.
Yeah.
Really?
Exactly.
Oh. But just for the sake of discussion.
Okay. I mean, even though I am a born again Christian, to me, love still has a big role. Like, you see, it's kind of like mixed with your view, kind of. Even though I am a born again Christian, I still see love as a big.
Oh, but see, then let's say there's this guy who is a Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
Then, see, for someone to say that love is more important, the other person's religion should not really matter that much.
Yeah, because that's like my mom's view. Because my father wasn't that religious either. So, and I'm from a Caribbean family, so religion in the Caribbean is really heavy especially on marriages. But my mom chose the route of not making it such a big deal, I guess you could say. So it's kind of like an equal agreement between families. So I guess that's where I kind of get my view from. But still.
Passing the mic to your neighbor.
To me? What was the question again? No, it was something to do with born again Christians and then how that pertains to relationship and stuff, or love, right? So it kind of depends on how you define love. Are you talking about relationship stuff, or just love in general that you show to other people? I'm asking.
Oh, it was more about personal,
relationship stuff, right? It's it just really depends on who you meet. If the person, I'm not going to preach to them or whatever and preach Bible verses to them, but at the same time, if they're open-minded to my opinions on Christianity or whatever, because I used to be Catholic before I was born again, and then my parents, they still are really strong Catholics, so we're me and my parents we're always arguing about right and wrong or whatever, but me I try to tell my parents there's no right or wrong. It's just really about how you take the word, the Bible to everyday life and stuff. It's not about praying to saints being right. I'm not saying that's wrong, or me praying to just Jesus. I'm not saying that's right. It's just how you show that in everyday life, I guess.
Okay. Thanks for your comment. Okay, now let's move on to the next section, and that's religious diversity. In Korea, in spite of rapid industrialization and urbanization, a strong religious impulse remains intact in contemporary Korea. Religious population has increased steadily in the last 4 decades, and traditional religions and Christianity, as well as new religious movements, remain vibrant. As you know, South Korea has no official religion, like the Anglican Church in England, nor is there one dominant religion. As we have talked about to some extent in the past, in the past few classes, shamanism, Buddhism, Christianity, as well as new religious movements coexist peacefully in one of the most religiously pluralistic countries in the world. And I won't go through this again, but just to give you sort of a flashback to what you have seen before, right? That Buddhism is the largest religion with nearly 11 million people, followed by the Protestant Church, 8.6 million, and then the Catholic Church, 5.1 million, and so on, right? And here is, well, that's something we already okay, let's see if you could read this. Okay, religious identification by age groups aged 10 and over. So look at 2005, the last 1/3. N represents no religion, B Buddhists, P Protestants, C Catholics, and O other religion. So the first row is aged 10 to 9, second 20 to 29, and so on, right? So if you look at the age group of 10 to 19, as you can see, the Buddhist 17%, Protestant 20, Catholics 12. But if you look at just the Buddhists, right? As people get older, the proportion gets higher, right? Right? But for other religions, the difference is not that significant. So look at the Catholics. You see that it is evenly distributed in all ages. Okay? But the Buddhists more heavily concentrated in the older age group. Okay? So if any religion is worried about the aging of the believers, it's the Buddhist organization. Okay. Religious identification by socio-demographic variables, aged 20 and over. For all religions, there are more females than males. Okay. Again, it's true for, I think, any religion in the world. The next is education. So even here, there's something unique about Buddhists. So less than high school graduation or high school diploma, Buddhists. There's 33% of Buddhists have less than high school diploma. Okay? Compare that with Protestants. Only 14% of Protestants have less than high school diploma. For the Catholics, it's only 8%. Okay? Now for the more than high school graduation, Buddhist 20%, Protestant 20%, 15% Catholics. So overall, Protestant Catholics are better educated than Buddhists. But home ownership, not really that significant, right? So those two are the ones that should catch your attention. The next section is the growing influences of religion. Now, what is? Can anybody define what secularization is? It's a term that I think we all sort of take for granted, but would there be anybody who could sort of simply define what secularization is?
I'm not sure. I think like this worldliness, like not religious, but more like social and more. Not sure. Something like that. Like more.
What was the second thing? Second thing you said?
Non-religious.
Not religious. I think that's the closest one that of the ones you mentioned. Anyone else?
Yeah, I was gonna say like not religious, like material, so like of this world kind of thing.
Good. Anyone else? See, sometimes it's really good to ask really a basic question, because I think sometimes those basic questions are the hardest ones to answer, like the definition of culture, right? Well, I think with secularization, the simplest definition is this: declining. It refers to declining influences of religion. You see, before secularization, our worldview, values, the way we behaved, our knowledge, were all determined by religious teachings, right? But over time, with secularization, see, science has replaced religious knowledge, right? Rational thoughts, rather than religious thoughts, are more important for more people than ever before, right? Education has moved away from theology to something, related to science and social science and whatnot, right? So that's what we're talking about. Okay, so with lessening, with declining influences of religion, our values, our behaviors, our thoughts are less determined by religion. Okay, so instead of religious values, it would be something more, capitalistic value, consumerism, and whatnot. So that versus see, secularization, if we could define that as declining influences of religion, the opposite of that is growing influences of religion. And as the title of this section says, what has been happening in Korea is growing influences of religion. Now, I made a mistake of not animating these, so you have all the answers already. Not all the answers, but partial answers there, right? So, my question was, if the influence of religion in Korea is said to have grown stronger over the years, in what ways can this be detected? And this would have been a question, and some of the answers are there. I don't know how many of you have thought of religion as a major employer, but the fact of the matter is, just by looking at the number of these, the monks, pastors, and priests, and you also have what? Shamans, right? And also, if you could include, I don't know if you could include fortune tellers there, but it's related to shamanism. So, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of jobs being created by religion. Okay? And Korea is one of the few countries, I don't know if, but anyway, the number of churches we have is just simply amazing. It just, you've heard the saying that, wherever Koreans go, they set up a restaurant, a store, and a church. Something to that effect, right? Because there's so many, and I think there's a very healthy competition. Okay, I think if in a small community of like 3,000 Koreans in a small city in North America, you'll find 30 to 50 churches. Okay, sometime, and anyway, I don't know if I have that in the next slide. Okay, so when we talk about religious organizations as employers, which should also include janitors of these churches and temples, and also caretakers, and also the administrative staff, right? So it's again major employer in any given country. It's all true, and we're talking about just Korea, right? So in Korea, many religious organizations do operate schools at all levels of education. Okay, elementary, middle school, high school, and also, of course, universities. And if there is anybody in this room who sort of, as a second choice, I think all of you probably have thought of Seoul National University as your number one choice, but then you sort of had to settle for the next best. It was probably Yonsei. Is that what it was? And then you sort of, I'm really being frank and then candid about what might have happened, right? But you know why you should feel so lucky not to be at Yonsei? Why am I saying this? Yes, chapel service. You have to go there every week for 4 years. Yes. Is it 2 years? 2 years or 4 years. If you are an intelligent and free-thinking person, how could you be forced to attend a chapel service for 2 years? It's worse than attending a Shinto worship service. Why? Back then, if you didn't go, you had to go. You ended up at a jail. But here you have a free choice. So shouldn't every Korean student boycott these church-run universities that force you to attend a chapel service, even if you're Buddhist, Catholic, or atheist? Doesn't matter. So even if you're born Christian, would you be happy with an institution where people are forced to go to these chapel services? See, in Korea, this is still happening. If you miss even once, you don't graduate. So that's why they have a makeup chapel services. But see, it's sort of see, those parochial schools and universities, if they're private, you have a choice. I know, but here, so many universities are run by these church organizations. You don't really have a choice, because some of the best ones are church operated. Okay? Yeah. No. Yeah, it's only for. That's right. No. Oh, you mean international students who are? I think they have to go. Huh? I think so. Wow. So again, I think the major issue or difference is that here, it's not, you don't really have a choice. I mean, if in the States, I think really religious universities are like Oral Roberts University, right? Right. There, you're getting into a Christian university, and if you go to their website, what is the first thing you see? Big cross. But if you go to Yonsei Yihwa, you don't see any of that. And you ask students who ended up going to those places, you ask, did you know that you had to go to these chapels? No. Yes. Every Christian owned universities has that stipulation. Yeah.
No, I guess that's the one difference. I guess now that you're saying it, that's the one difference that U.S. has from here. Like, there's like a big separation between church and like other things, and church and state and stuff like that. So like, they can't force you to do something like
That's
that.
right.
It's against what I guess just even constitutional rights.
This is constitutional matter.
Yeah, so as you said before in the beginning, you're like, if it was really a democratic state, it would stop doing that. Because even though I am a Christian or whatever, I would never force someone to listen to things that they already don't believe. Yeah, I wouldn't even do that to my own self.
Yeah.
So I mean,
so some of the like high schools, you know how we in Seoul we have this equalization policy. You go to a school in your neighborhood. So if you're unlucky enough to get stuck in a Christian high school, then you go to some kind of a chapel service. Okay? Yes. Because some nutheads think that by forcing these young people to go to chapels, somehow they'll be like, oh, wow, Christianity. Now I'm a Christian. Right? As many of you agree, becoming a Christian, Muslim or whatever, it's got to be totally voluntary, and it's got to be some kind of a connection, right? You have this inner drive to find something, and during some particular time in a period of your time of your life, it's something that sort of clicks together, right? Not like, again, throwing a Bible in the face of someone and say, hey, read it, and you'll become a Christian, right? I mean, I think that is the attitude of many of these Christian-owned educational institutions. Really backward mindset. Agree? So, if there's anybody in this room who has this very secretive admiration for why university, think again. You see, at this university, you're free to think and believe in whatever you want to believe in, and don't have to lie to yourself, right? By attending this chapel service. Yes.
I know like a lot of hotels in like Canada, United States, like have like a Bible in the bedside table. Is that in Korea too?
Yes.
Or okay, I was just curious because I when I stayed at the hotel, I didn't have a Bible, so I was like, hey.
I mean, I think people
weird.
just have. I mean, all the hotels have that as sort of a tradition, right?
Yeah.
Who actually, I mean, even if you don't have anything to read, would you actually take the Bible into the washroom, for example, to read?
I think it's a sin to read it in the washroom.
Oh, is this?
I don't know.
I mean, if you have nothing to do, just look at your palm and try to read. Anyway, here are other evidences or manifestations which show that religion is not really declining in terms of social and political influences, but it's growing. These church religious organizations, they operate hospitals and research institutes, operate commercial enterprises like newspapers and printing houses. They also operate cable channels. There's one Catholic cable channel, one Buddhist. For the Protestant, I think it's about 3 to 4. Okay, so I think television media, I think is warmly embraced by religious organizations as a means of propagating its beliefs. Yes. 1 second.
Is there a Christian party in Korea? Like I know in some countries there are like Christian parties.
For every election, a party representing Christian interests always is founded. But according to the election laws of Korea or political laws, any party that does not win more than, I think, either 2 or 3% of popular votes has to close. It has to sort of close its operations and get rid of its name. Okay, so for the last election, we had like 19 parties on the ballot. Okay, for the proportional representation seats. So I think at least one or two of those did have Christian whatever party, right? But they did not win enough votes to continue their operations. So now they're closed. They're no longer in operation. So we only have 4 parties, right? 새누리, what is 민주통합당? Is Democratic Unified Party, Unified Progressive Party, and then Liberal 자유신민당, 자유선진당, Liberal Forward Party. What a stupid name. Why not Liberal Progress Party or something? But Liberal Forward. Very amateurish. That's my personal opinion. That's it, right? Those 4. And these religious organizations provide various social services, including orphanages, shelters for the homeless, childcare, and counseling. I think one thing you should know is that when it comes to these, some of them are totally funded and operated by these religious organizations. Some of them fully funded by our tax money, but they simply operate. Okay. Anyway.